The average daily balance method is the most complicated of the three types of balances that we use. First of all, since it is a daily balance, when you figure out your interest, you're going to need to multiply it by 30 if the month has 30 days in it, divided by 365. If the month had 31 days in it, you would multiply it by this. So when you're looking at your interest, you're going to need to figure that out first. So let's just take a look at a problem. So there are a couple things that we need to make sure we know about this. First of all, in this problem, we have a balance of $4,000, an APR of 23%. Remember that APR stands for the annual percentage rate, so this is the interest over the course of a year, and we need the average daily balance, so we're looking at daily interest. And we have a payment here of $150. So remember the way credit cards work is that when you make a payment, you're subtracting this from the balance. So since this is the average daily balance method, we're going to need to know when the payment was posted. And in this problem, it says it took 10 days for the payment to post. So in order to find an average, typically what you do is you add everything up and you divide by the number of items that you have. Well, we're talking about days here. So there are 30 days in this month. So when we look at this, we have a balance of $4,000, and it's $4,000 for 10 days. So we could say 4,000 plus 4,000 plus 4,000 plus 4,000. We could do that 10 times, or we could just say times 10, because remember, we are working on an average for the balance. So that's the same as adding up 4,000 10 times. Now, once you make the payment, if you take the 4,000 and you subtract the payment of 150, you get 38.50. And since there are 30 days in the month and you've already used 10 of them, there are 20 more days left. And so your balance for those 20 days is 38.50. So 38.50 times 20 is 77,000. Now, at no time is your balance 77,000, and at no time is your balance 40,000. But you are adding these up. It's the same as if you took 4,000 and you added it up 10 times, and then you added 38.50 up 20 more times. You would get the addition of those two numbers. So if I add up 77,000 plus 40,000, I get 117,000. And again, remember that at no time is 117,000 your balance, but we're trying to find an average. And to find an average, you add everything up, which is what we've just done, and you divide it by the number of items. Well, there were 30 days. So you had a balance for 30 days in that month. So 117,000 divided by 30 is 3,900. 3,900 is your average daily balance. And in the average daily balance method, that is where the finance charge comes from. So you take your 3,900. At no time was your balance ever 3,900. That is an average. See, at one point it was 4,000. At one point it was 38.50, but the average is 3,900. And you take that 3,900 and you multiply it by the interest, and typically we take the interest and we divide it by 12, because this is an annual interest and we're dealing with 12 months, and a credit card is paid monthly. Since we're dealing with an average daily balance, we take that interest, we move the decimal, and we multiply it by 30 days divided by 365 days in a year. So if I take 0.23 on my calculator and I multiply it by 30 divided by 365, and you should pause the video and try to do this and make sure you get the correct number. If I multiply 0.23 times 30 divided by 365, I get this long decimal. Let's see, let me pull up the calculator so you can see that. So here's my calculator. And I'm going to do 0.23 times, and there are 30 days in my month, and there are 365 days in a year. And sometimes banks will use 360 days if they're using what's called the banker's rule. So you would need to read your fine print. So there's my interest. It's in decimal form, and I'm going to multiply it by the average daily balance, and that is how I get my finance charge. So my finance charge in money is going to be $73.73. So if I needed my new balance, my last balance that I had, let's do this. So the last balance that I actually had when we did our math was 38.50. That was the last balance that I had. Now, not the daily balance, but the last real true balance that I had. And then the finance charge was 73.73 in money. So when I get my new balance on my sheet, this will be the balance that I will see on my credit card bill. So that's what that looks like for average daily balance. If I ask you for the finance charge, this is the number you would give me. If I ask you for the new balance, this is the number you would give me.